All right, everyone. Welcome once again to our meal solutions class. And for meal solutions for the month of June, we have been talking all about al fresco dining or eating outside in the fresh air. And today is no different with what we are talking about, which is mini lobster rolls. So something fun and different, I think. I'm excited. Why are we talking about little lobster rolls today? And that is because whatever, and the beginning of the the end of the month is here at the beginning of the week, and oh, then we go to Friday and we hit 4th of July. So um but it's going to play really nicely with the recipe that we are making today, these little mini lobster rolls, because as you can see, they are all red, white, and blue. Okay. If you need the link to the recipe, they are here in this presentation. You can just click on one of these for Giant or for Martin. You can also see that this recipe does earn a guiding star from our nutrition navigation system. So a bit of a better for you recipe. And I think a big reason for that too is they're mini, right? We're not indulging in a whole lobster roll. These are just a nice, cute little thing that maybe you can make if you're having a bunch of people over, or maybe you're just having a small celebration for 4th of July. Okay, they're going to be a really fun one for either or. Now, before we get into the actual lobster roll, we are going to be making some red, white, and blue potato chips to go with it. All right. Once you click on the link for the recipe, you will see that it just calls for blue potato chips. We are going to be making our own today. You could buy our blue corn tortilla chips, which would which would add a nice little crunch to this. Like I said, we're going to make our own using our bag of medley mini potatoes. As you can see here, we have white, red, and little purplish blue potatoes in this mix. Now, before I show you us actually putting them into the oven, let me show you some steps that I've already done. And this you will only find here in the presentation, okay? This part of recipe is not online. So if you need to go back, refer to this slide here. But to make the potato chips, I have already thinly sliced our potatoes, of course, after rinsing them. But after you slice the potatoes, you want to rinse them again and make sure that you're really separating those slices. They can tend to stick together, especially since they are so thin. Now, I thinly sliced them myself just with a knife, but if you have a mandolin, that would also work really well. I know not everybody does. I don't. So you can just use a knife just fine, but make sure you're separating and rinsing off those slices. After you do 30 minutes, it really just helps pull a lot of the starchiness out of the potato and therefore can help potato crisp up a little bit better when baking them. Okay. In that sense, we also need to make sure that after we rinse them and drain them after soaking, that we completely dry them. Okay. I patted each piece down with a paper towel. If they still have some of that water on them, when you go to put them in the oven, they kind of will more so steam than bake, so they won't be as crunchy. And I'm not even going to guarantee that mine are going to be super crunchy, but I did my best to really pat them dry. Then you can toss them with olive oil or any other seasonings that you would like, and we're going to bake them in a single layer at 425 for about 20 to 25 minutes, okay? So that's why I really want to go ahead and get them in the oven now. So let me bring up my ingredients over here for you. You can see we're ready to deal with the lobster. But here are my potatoes. How beautiful. This is what they look like whole. The blue and the red. Once again, there are white potatoes in the mix too that you can use depending on how many chips you want to make. I only went with the red and the blue because, of course, when you cut into the red, they're going to be white on the inside. So I felt like that provided enough pop for the red, white, and blue portion of it. But aren't they cute and pretty? I love them. You guys know I love like purplish blue foods. So to this, I'm just going to toss them in a little bit of olive oil here. And then, guys, I'm just going to do a very small pinch of salt and pepper in here. You can completely omit the salt if you would like to, but I'm just going to do just a hair. I'll move my camera over in a moment for you to see, but just a pinch of salt and a little bit of pepper. Here, I'll move this over. Here we go. So you can see, just gonna do a quick little toss there. I have my oven sheet ready here with a piece of parchment paper. Our parchment paper is good up to 425 degrees, which is what we are doing these at today. And like I said, we want them to be in a single layer so that way they actually cook and crisp up nicely. So let me get these spread out. Pretty good here. And then I will pop these in the oven to bake, right? We're not frying them. You could air fry if you have an air fryer. But we'll get these to bake while we work on the actual lobster roll, okay? How fun and pretty. I think this is a fun thing to get the kids involved too. If you have some little ones around for 4th of July, make your own potato chips. So yeah, okay, let me pop these in the oven and I will be right back, okay? We'll focus over here on the lobster, just one moment. Okay, and I'm back. Now, let me bring this back up here for you guys. We're gonna go back to our presentation here to talk more about the actual lobster recipe portion of this, okay? So now, before we get into the actual recipe though, I do have a poll question for you. And that is, which lobster roll team are you on? Okay, if you're not too familiar as to which the differences are, I have it on the PowerPoint here. So your main lobster rolls are going to be a cold lobster mixture. In comparison, the Connecticut roll is warm. The main one is going to be tossed in a mayonnaise-based dressing and sometimes can have some additions like celery or celery salt. Where in comparison, the Connecticut roll, like I said, it's warm and then it's tossed in butter. Rather than adding anything else to it, the focus is more that pure lobster flavor. So where are we on here? I'm going to say, I know this wasn't an option and it's not fair because I get to voice my opinion about it then, but I like both. So I'll show you guys what you said here. More of you are going with Team Maine lobster roll, so that cold mayo-based type roll. Some of you lobster at all, totally okay. Hopefully you at least walk away today with the red, white, and blue potato chip recipe. But regardless, glad that you're still hanging out with us as we chat all things lobster today. So we'll get out of that. And here is the actual recipe. So let's walk through this a little bit before making it. First off, I will say, of course, you need lobster. Now, the recipe that is linked into this presentation that you will get calls for actual lobsters, okay? And we're going to chat all about the different possibilities for lobster. If you would rather not get actual lobsters, then we're looking for about a pound of pre-cooked lobster meat. And we'll, like I said, get into options for that here in a moment. This recipe, this is more of like that Maine-based lobster roll compared to Connecticut because it is served cold. And we have some additions like celery as well as mayonnaise, a bit of lemon juice, and celery salt. I am going to omit the celery salt today. I'm not going to use it. Celery salt is pretty much just need to add any more salt to what I'm making today. But that's completely up to you if you would like to have that. So let's talk about the different options in the way of lobster. Okay. Can you buy fresh lobsters at our store? You can, depending, on the store. Okay, some of our stores do have some fresh tank lobsters there that you can purchase. You can buy them live and take them home live if you would like to cook them yourself, or you can also have them steam it for you there behind the seafood counter. So either is an option depending on what you would prefer. If that is not your thing, you're like, I am not Julia Child, I am not cooking up some lobsters, then that is okay too. We have some other options in our stores for you. So um, we have here on the far left just lobster tails that have been frozen, and you can cook just the tail. Um, Next to that, we do have whole cooked lobsters in some of our stores that you can purchase that way. To the right of that, we have Lobster Classic from Transocean. So this is a mixture of what you would call like imitation lobster, or if you've ever had imitation crab meat, these are made from Alaskan pollock. But mind you, if you are allergic to shellfish, you still don't want to get this product. All right, this is still a product that contains shellfish, as it does have real lobster meat added to it. It's just not fully lobster. And then to the right of that, if you're really looking for just, I want a quick fix for something like a lobster roll, then from our deli counter, you can pick up our seafood salad. That's what is over here on the right. Once again, you can see it's that mayo base type dressing, some added celery in there as well. And I do believe that that's more of the imitation crab meat type scenario there. So lots of different options depending on how much effort you want to put into the lobster roll, and things of that nature. So what I decided to do today is I did go with the Lobster Classic. Didn't decide to buy the live lobster today, although I'm not opposed to it. I have cooked a lot of lobster tails, and I do think that that's a great option. A big reason I decided to go with the Lobster Classic for this is because it does have that mayo-based dressing to toss to it. If I was making a Connecticut roll and focusing purely on the flavor of the lobster, then I probably would have went the fresh route or the lobster tail compared to this. But I do feel like that is quite a bit of work to then just mix it with, mayo and other things. But I do like the option, like I said, on the right of just picking up our seafood salad too, if you're just like, I just want this quick little lobster roll. I did pick some up today, so I will show you what that looks like in comparison to what we are making here in a moment. But lots of options for whatever level you would like to put forth in terms of this recipe. Now, I feel like a lot of you have been asking some questions about vegetarian or vegan options when it comes to these recipes, which is wonderful. Please keep challenging us to find answers to those questions. So I have this slide here. If you wanted to make some vegan lobster rolls, the suggestion for vegan type seafood from a texture standpoint is to get hearts of palm, okay? Hearts of palms are harvested from different types of palm type trees, and they're going to have a very similar texture to seafood, as you can see there in that picture. We have a couple of different canned varieties of hearts of palm. This one in particular, though, that's found in our natural and organic section, is going to be the lowest in sodium. So if you are watching your blood pressure or have sodium concerns, this is the one that I would recommend out of the 3 different options that we have. We also do have some vegan mayonnaise options in our stores. I specifically highlighted this one because it is follow your heart, dairy-free, egg-free, obviously. It is vegan. So a good option there if you wanted to make these, but in a little bit of a different way. Okay, so give it a go. If you do that, I'd love to hear how they turn out. Or maybe you have used the hearts of palm before as a seafood substitute, I would love to hear about that. Here is the directions then of how to put the rolls together. These directions are going to be with using the already pre-cooked lobster that I mentioned. But if you are making your own fresh live lobster, there are directions on that savory link as to how to do that. Okay. All right. So let's get into actually making the lobster rolls over here. So once again, I am going to pull up our ingredients and we will get working on that. Okay, so this is what the Lobster Classic from, let me grab the container here, sorry, from Transocean looks like, okay? From an affordability standpoint, it's going to be a lot more affordable than actually getting fresh lobster or even the lobster tails, although I will say that the frozen lobster tails are on sale right now. So pick them up while they are, put them in the freezer if you like that. But once again, from an affordability standpoint, these can be a great option. This is what it's going to look like here. Coloring in this from paprika, so it gets that pop like lobster, but then also there is real lobster meat added to this as well. So recipe calls for 1 pound of cooked, so I used 2 of these packets. All right. Whoops, potatoes, you need to move out of the way. Your spotlight is over for now. Okay, there we go. So now to this, we are going to be adding a half a cup of mayonnaise. I feel like mayonnaise, I've talked about this before, is always such a hot debate of like, what kind of mayonnaise do you use? I'm using our store brand mayonnaise, but I know people have feelings about mayonnaise and Hellman's or whatever it is that you like, but we need a half a cup in here, okay? I think Duke's is another one that people really like to go for. I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't like mayonnaise. It's a texture thing for me. I think it's the same reason that I'm not big on like yogurt or sour cream, which we should talk about. If you are looking for a substitution for the mayonnaise, like maybe it's not your thing, but you do like yogurt, you could 100% use a half a cup of Greek yogurt in here instead of the mayonnaise. Okay. Usually when recipes call for mayonnaise or sour cream, you can swap them out for equal parts of yogurt. So that is an option, okay? So we have our half a cup of mayonnaise in there. Here I have 2 stalks of celery already finely diced up that we're gonna pop in there as well, okay? And then to that, I am going to add some lemon juice. I believe the recipe calls for a tablespoon. I decided to get some fresh lemons today because I think that always pairs really nicely with any type of seafood. So I'm just going to go ahead, make sure that no seeds get through there. Okay. Just going to do about half of this lemon. Oh, there was the seed. Perfect. Okay. Now, move this out of the way. Bring this in. Here we go. Let's give this a mix. That lemon is just going to add some nice acidity to this. Break it up a little bit. Very nice. Now, as you can see, and then for me, guys, like, I like lobster rolls, and it's probably one of the few instances that I would use mayonnaise, but to me, like, this is too much mayonnaise for my liking. So I would have maybe even just used a quarter of a cup of mayonnaise instead of a half, but totally up to you. You know, there's some folks out there who love the mayonnaise. Or if you're using yogurt, you know, layering on with that too, whatever you like, okay? Recipes are just inspirations, not rules. Here is that seafood salad that you can pick up at the deli. As you can see, pretty similar, okay? Maybe chopped up a little bit more finely from the deli, but it still has that celery in there as well. Of course, the mayonnaise vibe. So if you're looking for the quick fix, I think that this can be a really great substitute from the deli counter. All right. Now, let's talk about the rolls, okay? Recipe calls for just regular hot dog rolls that you then toast and add a little bit of melted butter to it. Instead of doing the hot dog rolls, I decided to pick up some brioche rolls. Okay, we have a couple different brands in the store. And go ahead and pull them apart. But because these are brioche rolls, you can see already shiny and lovely here. I'm not going to add more butter to them. I'm also not the type of gal who likes to toast them. So if you want to toast yours, by all means, go for it. Okay. Not my thing. So I'm just going to leave mine as is here. The cool thing about the brioche buns is they're kind of like a hot dog roll, right? Whereas the hot dog roll would lay this way and be cut like this. The brioche roll is going to be cut at the top, which is typically what you would do with the lobster roll here. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut these in half, right? Because they're mini lobster rolls, and then we will fill them. Using a serrated knife to cut bread, it just kind of works a little better as you go down through here, okay? And we'll do the rest of these quick. And then we're going to fill them up with our lobster mixture. Looking good. And my chips are smelling good. I do have a timer on those, so I am keeping an eye on where we're at with those. My hope was that they would be done while we were doing, after we were done doing this. So we will see here, okay? Let's fill these up and go from there. Look at that. Whoops. Fun, messy, but delicious, right? I think that putting them on something like a wooden cutting board like this is a great way to display something like this, especially once we get those chips out. We'll kind of sprinkle them and crush them right on top everywhere. And the hope is that it's going to look nice and fun and festive, right? Like that picture that we saw on Savory. Okay, couple more to do. The first time I ever had a lobster roll was at the beach. I want to say in Cape May, New Jersey. I used to go to Cape May a lot growing up. I've never been to Maine, so I haven't had the nice real deal Maine lobster rolls, but I felt like the one I had at the beach for the first time that year was quite delicious. I have been to Connecticut before, but haven't necessarily had a lobster roll while I was there. But all these things are on my bucket list. I have a food bucket list, and they are on it. Okay. 2 more to go. Looking good. Maybe load that one up a little more. Almost done. Kind of rearrange these a little bit. Last one. Okay. See, they're cute. They're little. I think, once we get the potato chips on here, that's going to add some nice texture, some nice crunch. What would I serve these with? Okay, if this is something that I'm serving for 4th of July, I think a nice salad would be fun with this, and maybe do some strawberries and blueberries in it, feta cheese to make it like nice and festive. Or if you want to skip the strawberries, do watermelon and feta cheese. Also a good idea, maybe just slices of watermelon. Endless possibility. Use the red, white, and blue produce to your advantage for this holiday, okay? It'll look great. Okay, let me check on my chips. It says that I still have 2 minutes left, but we'll go ahead and take them out early, okay? Let me make some room for them here. Put these here. Okay, just a moment. Let me grab them out of the oven. Just hang tight here for me. Don't mind my Christmas in July pot holder back there. Guys, I think I've mentioned to you before, but I'm doing a Christmas in July class coming up in a couple weeks, and I'm super pumped about it. So please join me for that, okay? It's going to be a really good time. Like, if you think I'm excited now, wait till you see me then. Okay, here are the chips. I have 2 minutes left on it. Hold on, I forgot to turn off the oven, and if I don't, it'll just beep at us. Just a moment. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, here are the chips. I had 2 minutes left, but they're looking pretty good already. Okay, and fairly. Oh, this one's nice and crunchy. Okay, so what we do from here, we just. Oh yeah, did you hear the crunch? Maybe. We're just gonna kind of pop them on. Oh, that one's hot. Hot. Woo! Like so. All right, this one's really nice. All right, so we're just gonna keep decorating our lobster rolls here. Oh, that one was a crisper. Okay, good. We need more blue. Put them on. Keep going around. Ta-da. Fun. That one I might, oh, there we go. Put that there. We need some blue over here. And then you can just keep adding to it. But there we have it, guys. Oh, they're together. We'll keep them together. We'll tuck that in there. I've always been one of those people that growing up, like I like to put a little bit of potato chips in like my ham and cheese sandwich, and I just kind of got that vibe from this. Here we go, our mini lobster roll with red, white, and blue chips. Super fun, easy, right? It didn't take long. It just depends on what you want to do with that lobster. All right. Now, let me bring up my screen here for you guys again. So if you like today and you are interested in more meal solution classes, check out what we have going on for July. A little bit of a note here. Today is the last class for the week, okay? We don't have classes for the rest of the week with the holiday coming up. So you will have us back with you next Monday for the first meal solution class of July, which all of them are focused on no-cook meals. So Charlotte will be back next Monday making some chicken hummus bowls. And then following that, I'm really excited. I'm always excited. I can tell I say that a lot, but I'm excited for the golden gazpacho that I'll be making. Then Joni's going to be making a fun buffalo chicken salad. And Jenna will wrap up the month with some summery mango and shrimp rolls. Okay? So let me stop sharing this screen and bring this back up here. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and end our recording. And let me take